I am pleased and feel privileged. I have Madison from iFootage International and Ian from iFootage International with me today. I'm really happy they took the time out to join me because I want to ask them a bunch of questions and I want to talk about some of their awesome products. Welcome, Ian. Welcome, Madison.
Thank you. How are you?
Thank you.
I'm good. I'm good. You're in UK, right?
Yep. And you've just got up and we're moving towards the end of our day.
About to get to sleep.
Have a nice day.
That's right. It's 8 o'clock here, and that means it's 4 o'clock there?
4 o'clock, yeah.
Wow. So you guys are actually 8 hours in the future.
We are actually in your future.
Yeah.
You're in our past, yeah. Yeah, awesome. I shall be going downstairs and making some, starting to prepare the evening meal soon. Yeah.
Oh, wow. I'm still drinking my morning coffee.
How are things over there in the US in lockdown?
They're good. Yeah, I mean, people are behaving for the most part. Regarding the lockdown and stuff like that, things are opening up. Regarding all the other stuff, I just said a bad word, but that's okay. Anyway, I met you two at NAB was canceled this year. I think it was the year before. Maybe it was the year before. Just for people that are watching, I met Ian. I don't think Madison was there, but anyway, I met iFootage, and I asked them. I went by and I said, "Hey, I mean, dumb me. I didn't bring a tripod." And I pre-asked them, "Hey, would it be cool if I tested out one of your monopods?" And they were like, "Sure." I was like, "Cool." And I stopped by their booth and they gave me one of their monopods, the, I don't know what it's called, and to use during the show, which I took home with me, but they were cool with that. And this thing was awesome. And this is where I met iFootage. And I started looking at the products. And there's another video for NAB, not this year, last year, of this little Nano slider that they're still working on until it's perfect. So this is where I met these guys. And man, I'm sorry NAB was canceled this year. I really missed seeing you guys. You were one of my top guys. For you, how was NAB not being held? Did that affect you adversely, or were you okay with that? And are you looking forward to the next one?
Most importantly, Kevin, we found out where that missing monopod is, Madison. Kevin took it home with him.
I know.
Yeah, I got blamed for that. We missed it a lot. We missed meeting you, obviously, Kevin, meeting you again. And from my point of view, the main thing is that because we're a company that's based in different countries, the shows we do, like NAB and IBC in Holland, it's an opportunity for everyone to get together, all the iFootage crew from China, Australia, UK, wherever, and meet up and spend time together, and also meet other friends who are working in other industries. And that's what I've missed most of all, that chance, even the social time. Because last year, for the first year ever, we didn't stay in a hotel. We took like an Airbnb, and it was just amazing. We had a pool, loads of rooms, and the whole crew was in there. And in the evenings, we had barbecues and swam, and it was just great. So it was a really good experience. It added a lot more to it. So now we're enjoying this digitally, though. This is our NAB with you.
Oh, yeah.
A month later.
Uh-oh. This is my booth, I guess. Hello.
Hello.
Yeah. Let's take a seat over there.
How about for you, Madison? I don't think were you at the NAB 2 years ago or no?
No, I missed the previous one because I had have a little baby. Right on time. Yeah, right on time. Just at the beginning of the show, so I had to postpone my trip. But this year I was really ready to come over and meet you. But obviously, what happened, and we do miss a lot. The people there. Community is a big thing for us. It's like pretty much like once or twice a year we've got this opportunity to get together. and share comments and obviously to have a look and enjoy all the latest kits and everything. It means a lot to us, seeing people face to face. But I guess things are changing. All this digital meeting and all that. It's starting to get popular. So
I just love these shows. I really hope next April that things are back to normal, whatever that means now. I hope we continue to have more shows. I was really looking forward to it, and I know another bunch of other YouTube creators that I know were really looking forward to it. So hopefully it'll return to normal, and hopefully you guys will be there, and hopefully we can get together and
absolutely. We miss it, but we also miss just going out. Yesterday, I went out to a hardware store just for a walk. And bought some paint. So it's like a sense of normality, yeah? So to queue up and go into a hardware store and buy some paint.
Yeah, it was kind of weird. My wife and I go grocery shopping every Sunday morning. And when this first started, we went into the store and there were a few people wearing masks, and it was odd. It was like they're wearing masks. Of course, now you wear a mask. To a large degree, depending on where you are. Now, most everybody wears masks. And when we go to the grocery store, the people who aren't wearing masks, they seem odd. Like,
what's the distancing in the US, Kevin? It's 2 meters here. What about yourself for social distancing?
Here it's 6 foot because in the US, they haven't figured out that using a metric system would be a good thing. Yeah,
you guys have also got... It's
1.5, isn't it? 1.5 meters.
But you guys have also got aluminum, whatever that is.
Yes, we have aluminum, whereas you guys have aluminium.
That's it, yeah.
I think we for me right now, because there's gardening centers all open up, I started to have this hobby like aquascaping. So you basically build up the whole fish tank and everything from scratch. For me, it's like to go out, buy materials and buy fish and things like that. It's like for me to enjoy at home and share with the little one. So that's to keep me, my mental health going.
Totally.
But yeah,
and Ian, you're out doing gardening or something, aren't you?
Yep, I got an allotment, which is actually at my in-laws' house, the big part of the end of their garden, and I'm growing, I think what you guys would call zucchini and beans and French dwarf beans and loads and loads of different types of vegetables, and I've got a vegetable garden at home as well here. So my aim is to grow as much fruit and vegetable as I can over the summer so that we can sort of keep ourselves supplied. But the thing I love about it, Kevin, is the fact there's no rules or regulations about gardening. No one can tell me I'm not doing it fast enough. Oh, you should be doing it faster than that. I just get on with it at my own pace. And the weather's been pretty good here of late, so been going outside a lot. And as I put it, poodling around the garden, looking at my lettuces and stuff like that. So, yeah, makes me happy, keeps me going. What about you?
I'm doing it right now. I shouldn't talk about that anymore. We should move into you guys and your company, because that's probably what most people, I think, are interested in. I got to tell you, I just got to say, this isn't sponsored. You aren't paying me to do this. I really wanted to do this with you because I missed you guys at NAB, and you're cool people.
Thank you.
I got to tell you, you guys.
Thank you.
I have, and we're going to show some of this in a minute, I have a couple of things called spider crabs. I have a K5 Komodo head. I have a K7 Komodo head. I have Seastars, which the video may be released by the time you're seeing this, which is a quick release system that just will blow you out of your mind. And kudos, hats off to you. There's not a single thing I've got from you guys that is not just the highest quality, awesome, and works. period, the end. How do you, like, what do you go through? We'll be looking at this in a moment. I'm sure, like, what is that, right? Like everything I get from you, I touch and I just love. How do you what do you go through?
I've been with the company a couple of years now, and one of the key factors that I've noted is that they are always all about seeing something and improving it. That's what motivates them. They're engineers, and you can see that in the products. Their background is in engineering. But it's always about looking at the existing market and then thinking, how can we just, what are the problems with, what's the issues with these, and how can we just make them much, much better and much easier to use and better for end users, basically. Would you agree, Madison?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, the designers, basically, they want to improve the workflow for a lot of people out there in the field. They want to speed things up. They want to make the everydays, you know, when they use the kit, you know, just to make it easier for them. So that's the main goal. Obviously, with the quality of the products that we provided, we don't want people to keep buying, you know, the lower grade products again and again. Basically, we provide something that you buy one time and lasts forever, and that's our goal.
Both Madison and I are filmmakers. My involvement is mainly around pre-production, and I've taught at university for many years. And these are products which we like using, we like handling them, we love using them, and that was initially how I got associated with the company. Was Madison introduced me to the products, and I was using them in the field, and thought actually these are really, really good. So I believe in them. And I feel the products have great integrity. They're really very well designed, very well engineered. And like Madison said, they're built to last, and they're built to a very high standard, so that the end user feels confident in their use, but also thinks, yeah, I'm going to have this for years. This is going to last a long, long time, because I can tell it can. Well, you said it yourself, Kevin. Just handling it, you feel the quality in it.
Oh yeah. I mean, these are the spider crabs. This is the MA3-4. This is the MA5.6 or something like that. Anyway, I got a hold of these. I've used many of these. They're kind of magic arms, they call them. And I've used many of these. I've thrown away many of these. I've dealt with many of these. And as you saw in my Seastars video, which I haven't even posted yet, so maybe you'll have seen it by now, you don't know what you don't know. And when you have these, I wish I had another example here. When you have these types of devices and they have compression on it, they don't have any teeth on this, they have a plastic knob, that, you know, and you mount them and these kind of wear out and they fall down. When you get your hands on something like this, and I wish I could hand the viewers this thing, the mere touch of every single thing on here. There's not, like right in here, there's not a single burr. It's highly machined. It just feels right. And the thing about this is, in 5 years, I'm still going to have this product and I'm still going to be using it. The same with this one. In 5 years, I'm still going to be using this. And I've been through this. You're sitting there dealing with things like you'll see in my Seastars, the quick release video. You're dealing with things that are time consuming, or they make you not want to make videos because they're a bit of a pain in the butt. And when you get something like this, you won't ever think about it again. It takes it all out. Anyway, I could go on and on about the quality of your products. That's why I wanted to ask that, the quality of your products. And I know when I talked to you at NAB over 2 years ago, you had some products in development. And like other companies that I just respect and admire, you don't let it go until it's perfect. And I respect the hell out of that. I know there's this awesome Nano slider. We'll talk about that in a minute, that you guys, I saw 2 years ago, and you still haven't done it. And I know why you haven't done it. It's not because you're like watching Netflix all day, because you're making it right. This is right. There is nothing not right about this. There is no way I can improve on this product. I couldn't even give you a suggestion on how to improve on this product. And I'll go through and review the reasons why on this product. Every one of your products are like that. I know someone watching will be like, oh, but they give you stuff and they're probably sponsoring you. No, it's because they make good stuff. Anyway, I could blah, blah about your stuff. See, you got me going. I'm blah, blahing about your stuff.
That's our job. I mean, we want people to use it and feel happy about it. And we want no complaint.
True. Well,
yeah.
The nice thing about these is they're mechanical in nature. So it's not like you have firmware electronics to deal with, although you do, because I know you make sliders and everything else. But still, these, I mean, come on. Again, I wish I could take the viewers and have them like feel a vision or something. When you pull something like this out and you just hold it, it's not only aesthetically pleasing, it is just beautiful. Nobody I know of comes along and does the following. Okay, this is going to be like a spider crab. And what we're going to do is we want to make sure that this mounting works. All metal. We want to make sure that there are teeth in here, because on these compression things, they'll eventually fall apart. That's not going to happen. Who does this? Okay, I'm going to release the top. I could do this. Oh, I didn't. I'm going to release the top of this thing, and this doesn't come out. You push on the push knob, and now you can release this. Now look at this. Underneath all this, you have your awesome 3/8 and quarter adapter, so it adapts to anything. And then on the bottom, look at this thing. You can plant this onto whatever you want. 2 little pins. Screw the thing in, flip this down, throw this back in here. It locks, and then you clamp it down. Nobody does that I know of.
It's all the, obviously, marketing research and the people we talked with in the industry. We share comments, and sometimes they have faced into like some sort of problems, and then that kind of, for us, okay, we sit together internally and have a think about, okay, how can we solve those problems? And our team, the bunch of designers sit together. Obviously, they came up with lots of ideas. And we do bounce it back to the people in the industry and tell them, okay, we have these solutions, A, B, or C, or D. How should we do it? How should we improve it? And we do listen. We always listen to the people around us. So yeah, we once we have the final products, we send it out for people to test it, and we gather more comments from them if we need to do any changes and so on. And then we have the final products.
We have a number of friends we've used quite a lot over the last couple of years from different parts of the world, and they'll take an early prototype from us and test it out in the field, and then they usually join us at one of the exhibitions, NAB or wherever, and that's a point where we can talk more face-to-face about the product, about the changes that need to take place with it. Other conversations include what other products perhaps we should be looking at and how we should be improving them. The boss always brings with him some new stuff hidden under a sheet, which he brings in a suitcase through customs. And he does a big reveal in the hotel room every time and says, what do you think of this? We'll go, wow, what the hell is that? And then he demonstrates it. And then 2 years later, basically, you'll see that rolling out. But it's a lot of toing and throwing and a lot of using, because we all practice, so a lot of using the products until it reaches a point, we hope, where it's ready to go to market.
Yeah, I noticed over at, I think it was News Shooter, Eric on Nassau, did a write-up on their webpage. Great site, by the way. They did a write-up on their webpage talking about the Seastars quick release system. And I noticed as I was scrolling down, 2 years, it may have been 2 years ago or even earlier than that, he was showing that you gave him an original prototype, which looks nothing like this right now. And the things he liked and didn't like and stuff, and how you nailed it on the new Seastars, it was fascinating to look. And I was like, oh, I get it. this is how they do this, is they come up with a prototype like any respectable company would do. They come up with a prototype, an idea, and they get feedback and figure it all out. I found the article fascinating. Plus, Eric is the bomb, so, you know. Here's Seastars, and it goes through all this stuff. And here it is. This was the original, or one of the prototypes, with the little knobs and stuff like that. And that's pretty cool. But look at the difference. This is really cool. That is the bomb, I know, because I have them. And it was nice to see the development of this thing. And I was like, oh, that's how you guys do this. Aha. Yeah, Eric's a good guy to go to for feedback because he has a lot of experience. Anyway, spider crabs. They're insanely awesome. The other thing that I wanted to talk about a little bit, even though I made a video on it, is these darn Seastars. These guys, just, see, now I'm going to get going now. These guys, you don't know what you don't know. You don't know what you don't know. When you're using something, it's kind of like when you walk into a business, it's kind of business as usual, and you just kind of expect things normally. That's the way it is. So when something comes along to change the way you look at things, for instance, I have Manfrotto and Swiss arca plates all over the place, and they're great. They've been around for years and years and years, but you guys came up with an entirely different new design. I know Manfrotto makes some lever, pull your camera out type stuff. These aren't the same things. And when you guys came out with this design, when I first looked at it and got the package, I was like, I don't know about this. But then when I actually got the thing and started using it, it blew me away. It changed the way I'm doing quick release. I'm replacing every single Swiss, Arca, and Manfrotto type style, good and bad and copied plate on everything I have. On that camera, which is mounted on your monopod, which is the bomb, by the way. That plate's going away. On this overhead camera, that's going away. It's this rig on the main studio. That's going away. On my sliders, I think I have 2 or 3, 1, 2, 3 sliders on my jib, on my 4 tripods. I'm losing them all and replacing it with this because these things. See, now I'm going to sit here and I'm going to talk all the time, and you guys are just going to be like, yeah, well, because we're really cool. Like, where did this just fall out of someone's brain all of a sudden? Like, talk about this thing for a minute, because I want to go set up and do a quick demo of these. So just talk about for a second with our viewers, where did this come from? Like, how did this happen?
Go on, Mads.
Go on, Ian.
It's again an issue was cited that there wasn't really a totally reliable quick release system in the market, and that challenge was put to the design team, and they wanted something that was highly portable. They're only that size. I mean, they're really pretty small. They're lightweight. You can pop them in your pocket, in a bag, etc. They're incredibly robust. They're beautiful to handle and really easy to move equipment from one piece of sport equipment to another. So a camera, you could move around endlessly and in seconds. And that was the brief, really, was to come up with something that was lightweight, portable, super strong, durable, that was really good to hold, that you felt, yeah, I can trust my expensive rig to this, even though it's only diddy, it's only small, and that it's going to last. And that's basically what we've come up with, is the latest version of Seastars, which you have.
And for me,
it's amazing.
Yeah. For me, it's all about
man.
speed. I mean, I do. In the past, I did a lot of wedding, wedding video with the shoot. And events as well. And sometimes you do have, 2 or 3 people around you. They set up the sliders and all that and getting ready to use. But then swapping equipment is still very time consuming. You know, if you want to do like, I don't know, if you're on a tripod, you're doing a shot or focusing on, you know, with a tele lens, looking at filming the rain exchange and things like that. Oh, and then certainly you want to swap camera. Let's say you don't have, you know, a B camera or C camera and whatsoever. You have to swap. But then swapping during, you know, this crucial moment is just, first, it's very embarrassing in front of all these people. Secondly, it's all about speed. If you miss the moment, you miss the moment.
You know, so your point is great. I want to show our viewers something. Hopefully I can pull this off and not mess it up. I got a camera set up. I want to show the Seastars thing really quick. Check this out.
I should start the timer right now.
Yeah, we should have, yeah. He's doing the hands.
Yeah. So the third equipment on the slider. No, but roughly 10 seconds, I think.
That was very slick.
I was taking my time. I actually did this. I didn't film it because I didn't want to blow everybody away. I did this in the video I'm doing. I just kind of took my time and moved it. I tried a speed test on this, and I was able to mount that between those 4 objects. I think it was 6 seconds. Click, blam, click, blam, click, blam. It was like 6 seconds or 8 seconds or 5 seconds or something like that. To your point, Madison, or everybody's point is these things are freaking awesome. You'll see in my review. And my suggestion, basically my suggestion, if you don't want to watch the video, is just go freaking buy them. If you're sitting there with a single camera and a tripod, and you're mounting your camera to the tripod, the thing that's going to happen is you're going to be like, oh, I need to replace my battery, or I need to go grab my card, and usually you don't have access to it, or you're fiddling around with it, or you want to remove the camera for some reason. That takes time. You have to unloosen it, or you're spinning the camera off, or you're doing something like that. With this, you walk over and you twist and unmount. And when you're done, you mount it back on and you're done. No fuss. And that's with a single camera. If you have a tripod, maybe a monopod, or you have 2 tripods, like Madison was saying, if you're at a wedding event, maybe you have a slider, maybe you have a tripod over here and a tripod over here if you're not shooting multi-camera. Again, it takes seconds. You can twist, unmount, stick on your slider, and you're done. You're not going to miss things. And the sanity for me, I love these things. I could go on talking about them forever. When I originally made this video, which is about 8-9 minutes long, it was over an hour. That's how long I went blah, blah about these. And I had to cut it down because people would have shot themselves. These things, I don't know what to say, except they're awesome. I've never seen anything like that. I've used the Manfrotto. I've used the slide out tilt arca-swiss. I've used the Manfrotto where you pull the lever and you pull it out. And those are okay. There's nothing like this, and they're solid. What you saw me move over there was 10 pounds. 10 pounds doesn't seem like a lot, but when you have a camera and a rig and everything else, it's a lot of weight to move around. When you add in a cage and everything else, these handle up to 20 pounds, and that may not seem like a lot. A 20-pound rig is a lot of junk. And being able to twist, undo, and mount, like if I, in this studio here, if I had the camera over there and the B-roll over here and I have this over here, if I just wanted to use one camera, would go into the other studio, twist, unlock, mount by my B-roll table, shoot that, twist, unlock, mount over here. I'll just be quiet. They're awesome. Go get them. You guys knocked it out of the park.
We're really pleased that you like them. The other thing that we really like about them is that there's a limited contact area, but it's still enough so there's absolutely no wriggle room at all. Because you do get that with some of the quick release systems. That it's absolutely rock solid every time, which is fabulous.
Yeah, I love that. And it kind of blew me away when I first got these. I don't mean to question you, but when I first got these, I was like, I don't know. This is about a 2.1 inch wide contact area. I don't know if that's going to hold it. The minute I mounted that rig on there, and I didn't show this in the video, I have another rig that I was filming with over in my main studio that it's got to weigh 17 pounds, and it's a monster. It's got a 5D Mark III. It's in a cage. It's on a large video head. On the cage, it has a Mix Pre 3 attached to it. It has a 7-inch monitor attached to it. It's got cables and cords and everything else. Getting that off of there with my existing plates was unreal. So when I mounted this on here, I was like, no way. There's no way this contact surface is going to hold that rig without moving. And I'll be darned if it didn't. Also, this little pad here, this seems like a silly little thing to comment on. Those quick release plates I have, they usually don't come with any padding or anything else. And I have marred up the bottom of more cameras than I can even tell you. It just drives me crazy. This, when you're sitting there and you're trying to mount, like Madison said, when you're like trying to move or you're in a live event or something like that, and you go to mount your camera on here. Well, this has a 3/8 on it. Well, I need to get an adapter, or it's got a quarter on here.
Yeah.
And then you're like, okay, let's say it has a quarter on here. Okay, now I need to go mount something on here. Oh, I have a 3/8 inch. Oh, I need to go find an adapter. You don't have time to mess around with this stuff. If you sat down and calculated how much you saved instead of spending $69 for a decent system, maybe you got away with 20. If you could tick off the amount of time you fuddled around with it, by the end of the year, those minutes add up to hours, add up to sometimes weeks. And if you could sit there at the end of the year and go back and go, wow, are you telling me I just spent, I'm making this up, are you telling me I just spent 98 hours fiddling with my quick release plates at the end of the year? Well, how much is your time worth? 98 hours times what? Well, $98, if you're making $1 an hour, is $98, and no one makes $1 an hour, which is why when I see stuff like this, I recommend it. And I go, you guys, you gotta get on. And you can play with all the other quick release plates, and you can go buy the cheapo ones. I know I bought them all, and the little plastic things that break off. My suggestion is, you'll see in the video, my suggestion is just go get these and save yourself a lot of trouble.
With the very common, like the Manfrotto plates, you know, or any other format like arca-swiss. The most often, it depends on the situation. Sometimes you don't have the options to really look at the mount and slot the plates in. Let's say you have like a crane, underslung crane, right? Way at the top. So you reach your arms, you literally just enough to mount the camera on it. But then you can't really look into details or how accurate to slot the plates in or find the knobs, to lock it in place. With the Seastars, basically, you don't even need to look at it. You feel it, because there's a kind of how do you call it, like you slot it in and you feel it. There's a click, right? Once you click it in place,
yeah,
it's safe. It's ready to go. You don't even need to look at it and where the lock is and all that. You just push it in, it locks.
I've seen that, like on the jib that you just saw. When I have that jib up there, and I'm reaching up and I'm sliding this jib in here on these other quick release plates, and then I'm like, okay, did I meet? And then I mean, you have to be sure about it, especially when you're on a set. If you got people working for you and they're schlepping gear, they may have muscle memory, but if they don't get that thing in there and there's time, it's like, no. They get that thing in there and everybody's waiting. And they're like, oh, wait a second. Oh, the little knob doesn't, let me turn the knob, and they get that all in there. Okay, now it's tied down. Or with the arca, you get them in there. Now you've tied that all down and you've punched it all down. There is no doubt in your mind when these seat. When you take your rig, your little camera, your big rig, when you put that on there and twist it, it goes click. and you're done. You can't get it off, and they're solid and they don't move around. It's, again, I can go on forever about these. They're freaking awesome.
As a business, Kevin, we're very keen on eradicating potential issues or accidents. So again, going back to the spider crabs, your monitor that might be mounted upside down under the spider crab will not drop out when you release the buckle, because there is a secondary release for it. So it's actually anticipating the potential incident or accident that might take place. And we usually have those features with the new TC9 tripod, for instance. Much to Madison's delight, I've caught my fingers a few times when the legs cross over on some tripods, and you got your rig got on, and then you're holding over your shoulder, and you get a pinch on your hand or whatever. And we again, the iFootage pick that up and make sure that when the legs are locked, they stay locked together when you're transporting it, and don't fold over each other.
Let me see if this is still running. Yeah, I have a TC9 in there. Watch this. Let me show you this.
That was a neat introduction to the TC9.
Oh, yeah.
Kevin told me to do it.
Yeah.
There it is. Now that's the one with the bowl head, isn't it? And the quick release system underneath, yeah.
Yeah, here we go.
Yeah.
It doesn't go over to the center point. No.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that worked. Yeah. So, and we use you discovered carbon fiber the other day, apparently. Because is that right? You've been working with aluminum for many years, and then didn't we introduce you to carbon fiber?
No, Ian, I've been working with aluminium.
Sorry, aluminium.
When I was first at NAB, and Ian so graciously offered one of his monopods, he asked me if I wanted the carbon fiber one or the aluminum one, and I was like, just give me the aluminum one. Now, in my brain, this is an old dog nude tricks thing. When I look at carbon fiber, it has a bend, it has a flex. I didn't quite like it. I didn't think it would work. I didn't think it would be stable. And by the way, that's totally false. So when I got my hands on the TC9, I totally rearranged my idea on this. I don't buy, for film gear, I don't usually buy carbon fiber, anything that has a stability issue with it, because I thought they were hinky. I thought they wouldn't work. Totally changed my mind. I am all over these carbon fiber things. That TC9, that tripod that I have in there, I'll do a review on that, because there's all sorts of cool stuff on that I got to show people. And I know some people are like, well, duh, carbon fiber is light and it's sturdy. Well, not for me, because I've been doing this for a lot of years, and every once in a while you don't know what you don't know. And now I have to teach this old dog a new trick.
We took the carbon fiber to its limit when we sent, we worked with a guy called Laurie Hedges, who's a documentary filmmaker, and we gave him one of our carbon fiber tripods, and he went to Brazil, and the temperatures were in excess of 40 degrees, and he was still able to pick it up despite having left it in the sun for hours on end. And then he went to, I think it was the Alps, and filmed in between -5 and -10. And his hands didn't stick to it or freeze to it. So for him, as a documentary filmmaker who's working in quite extreme location conditions, it's absolutely his material of choice, because of it's not aluminum. It's not subject to temperature the way that aluminium is, that metal is. So he's done a couple of films demonstrating the use of that kit, which are pretty good. But that's hot. 40 degrees is really hot.
I'll have to check it out. For those people who are watching in the U.S. and don't do the conversion, 40 degrees there is probably cold. That's Celsius. It's 104 degrees, 105 degrees Fahrenheit. And Ian's right. despite I'm not going to use these carbon things because they're going to fail or not be stable, which is false. If you get a good one, like the iFootage one or others, you don't have to get the iFootage tripod. I'm just telling you it's a good idea to get them because they make great stuff. And I've done the same thing with my brain going, no, I'm not going to use carbon fiber. It's not going to be stable. I've had these aluminum or aluminium things out in pretty severe cold. You won't like it. These don't care. To the touch, you could use your bare hands on in the extreme cold. It doesn't care. I almost want to go show the cool. This has been a really long, I don't know how long we're going. It's not telling me how long it's going. But
right. We haven't even reached the K7 head yet, Kevin.
Oh, we haven't. Oh, okay. Well, since we're just hanging out and this is going to be really long, let me just show you one more thing that is really cool. I just got to show you this. This is the bomb.
Oh, the fast bow.
Yeah.
One twist. And ta-da! Slot it in. 2 twists.
Their hands again.
Brilliant. Again, brilliant.
The reason we introduced that was that we kept meeting a lot of filmmakers who were suffering with repetitive strain injury in their wrists from 40 years of doing that endlessly to get the ball head off. So we thought, well, why hasn't someone come up with a much simpler system than that? Just one turn and pull down.
Mm-hmm.
Well, again, old dog. I usually don't use, for the most part, on this type of stuff, on the big gear, yeah, but for the most part, I don't use or like ball head systems. They've been unreliable for me. They've been a pain to undo. They've been a pain to lock down, and the wrist damage that has occurred, excuse me, on that. When I got this, I was like, to be honest, I was like, oh, it's a ball head. Well, that's 2, right? Oh, it's carbon fiber. Oh, it's a ball head too. Oh no. Well, first, carbon fiber is awesome. I actually took it outside and was playing with it, moving it around with gear on it. It's so nice. And then secondly, that totally changed my mind about, with this TC9, about having a ball head. It was like, take it off, put it on. And it's really cool. Like if you want to move your gear, like if I'm up here and I want to move my gear to outside, say near my waterfall, I can pick it up and throw it on my shoulder if I want. It's totally safe to do that. Or, especially if there's somebody with me, I can press the button with a twist, pull it out, hand them the camera, grab the tripod, go down, set the tripod down, put the rig on top, shove it up, another twist, and I'm done. That's one benefit. There's probably many, but now I like ball heads again. Thank you.
You're welcome.
That's good.
Oh, we need to talk about the new head.
The K7 Komodo.
Yeah.
Yes. And unfortunately, I'm using it right now. Or fortunately, I'm using it right now. I got the K5 Komodo. It solved so many problems that I'll show you on the K7 too. This head is unbelievable. And again, it has all the good stuff. I was talking about these arca-swiss plates, and although I'll probably mount a Seastars on here instead. Let me lock this down. Again, you don't have the little knob that you have to pull out for this. You unlatch, it will not come out. You just push on this button right here, which, by the way, says push. Comes out. Locked. Another great feature of this thing that I love is, and some people may not care, this is important. You may not think this is important, but this is important. When you're dismounting a head and you have everything totally nailed, then you take the head off and you take your camera off and you decide you're going to go off and put the camera back on. Sometimes you're shooting some really important stuff. And if you note right here, in fact, you can take a little white marker and chip it. If you note right here where the camera is, because the focal length from here to here may not seem a lot, over in my studio, moving from that to that is the difference between you seeing a mid-level shot and a waist-level shot. That to that. So when you're shooting something important, and for some reason you have to dismount this or change batteries or whatever, you can note that it's at 10, lock it down, and you're done. And that's incredible. Again, all this stuff is just amazing. Secondly, here's another thing, and this is the same with the Komodo K5, which I now adore. And I showed this a little bit in my video. When you mount your gear on a tripod, these, I'm trying to not use a bad word, these people who just didn't think it through, they always make these knobs. And when these knobs come down, what they do is they interfere with the head. Another manufacturer, which I kind of feel sorry for, I got to give Manfrotto a lot of credit. They've been around for 20, 30, 50 years, and they've done some great stuff. But when I buy a Manfrotto head and I mount it on a Manfrotto pod, and I take, this is the pan meaning it moves like this. When I take the Manfrotto head and I put it on a Manfrotto tripod, and I have the little pan knob, which is here, and it hits the head and I can't use it, I'm like, what the hell? Like, come on, guys. Like, seriously, this does not. The same with the Komodo K5. Again, it was a thing I thought, I didn't know. I would move the knob, then I would pull it up, then I would, oh, you got that too on here. I don't know why. And then I would pull it up, and then I would recede it. Imagine there's a head here. And then it would hit, and then I would pull it up, and then I would receive it, and then it would hit. This does not. It gives you the room. That's one thing. The other thing that happens is obviously it's beautiful, it's aesthetic, it's lovely. Everything is machined. There's nothing on here that is not awesome. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask you, there's a knob here, and it's a click knob. I can feel the click. You see the little arrows here? Let me see. You can see that? There's a knob here, and this moves around like that. Now, that's part of the tilt mechanism. And you may be wondering, well, what's this? See that there? What's this plus and minus? What's all this about? And when you first get this, you'll be like, what's this all about? So I'm going to oh yeah. And we have this little guy down here too, with a plus and minus, which is also numbered, by the way. Smooth touch. So I'm going to let Ian or Mads talk about what are these little knobs, because they're important in a video head, and a lot of them don't have it.
You see the plus and minus. Basically, they represent the strength of the Wi-Fi signal. No, sorry, I mean the.
So this has Wi-Fi too. That's awesome.
Yeah, and they're next to the USB port.
Yeah,
right next to the. So you can do firmware upgrades.
Oh yeah,
you're talking about over here.
Once a week, it's compulsory.
Yeah.
Are you talking about this knob or the one on the other side?
Yeah, let's say that one. So let's be serious. Sorry, that one is actually control the tilt drag motion. So to control how smooth or the tilt action is. So you can add a bit more resistance when you tilt to get that really nice vertical shot. And then the other one at the bottom near the base is the pen drag motion control. So
it's basically, it's a form of dampening, isn't it?
Yeah, it is form of templing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I see.
And you can adjust it to suit your own particular physical needs with the head, but also your shot requirement.
Yeah, depends on the weight of your. Yeah, depends on the weight of your rig or your setup, really.
Mm.
Boom.
Beautiful.
That's how the head goes, and the other one. That's gorgeous. So the thing I noticed with this new K7 head, not only is it a beast, I mean, it's a beast. Oh, and I could go in and probably spend more people's time that's wondering why are we talking about all this stuff, because it's awesome. I could probably spend the next 15 minutes just talking about this arm, but I'm not going to. This knob here, when you're panning and tilting, like first you want to unlock the pan and tilt. There's a lot of resistance there. That's pretty tight. Let's go the other way. Normally you'd have a rig on here. You wouldn't do this by hand. And that's pretty loose. Now, I'm going to test this. I haven't tested it yet, but I accidentally tested it. When you have this head up here and you have a rig up here, you can set this thing so the rig's sitting here like this.
Yeah.
And it will stay there.
It will stay there, yeah.
Without locking it down. It's like a balance system.
Yeah, there's a 5-step counterbalance system, which I think the 5th step is 0. Is that right, Mads?
Yeah, it's on the other side, the control there, yeah. So 5 steps, yeah, 0 to 4, yeah.
Mm. And that does exactly what you said, Kevin. It allows you to counterbalance the rig based on the weight and distribution of the weight, including your lens, so that your rig will be in a neutral position and will return to a neutral position or a preset position of your choice.
I see. 4. It clicks. There's 3.
4, I think.
It clicks 2. Clicks 1. Well, and then I guess 0. So really 5. So yeah, that makes sense. So when I'm sitting here, that's really interesting. Oh, look at that. Immediately, you notice how easily I can turn this. If I set this to, let's say, let's counterbalance it to 4.
And it will always return to that position.
Wow. Let's go to 0. Look at that. That's 0. It doesn't even have anything on it. And it's just slowly moving down, which makes for great shots, by the way. That's one of the reasons why you want a good head, both pan and both tilt, is you can set it up with a rig and you can actually adjust this. So if you're doing some sort of tilting up shot, you can just let it do it by itself and adjust it. And you don't have to play with sliders and rigs and mechanical things and everything else. If I set this to 4, yeah, it's not going anywhere. That's brilliant. I love this thing. I'm not even going to go into the handle. People are going to be like, you're going to talk about half an hour on the handle.
Have you found the Easter egg of the tripod head yet? There's a little handy gadgets that hid under somewhere within the head.
I did. I found the Easter egg. Down here, where is it?
At the front, I think, isn't it?
Where did that thing go? Let me look for it here. Oh, yeah. Here's the little Easter egg. Watch this. When you have this thing, let me move this out of the way so you can see it. If you look under here, let's blow this camera up a little bit here. Again, sorry for the shakes.
Ooh.
Look what's sitting under here. Well, I guess that's 2. There we go. Right under here, there's a little Allen wrench sitting here. which, again, great design. I'm fumbling, I'm sorry. Great design is there's a magnet here. There's a magnet here, and then back stuffed away in here. I don't know if you can see that. There's a little magnet here. So you have this Allen wrench that just pops in there and doesn't come out. I mean, trust me, it doesn't come out. I'm having a hard time getting it off, actually. If you get your finger in there correctly, you can pull this out. Little Easter egg. What's the Allen wrench for?
Sometimes it depends on the weather. You know, if you, let's say, want to be a shoot in a very extreme weather, you know, let's talk about, you know, what Larry went up to, you know, to Alps and went to Brazil. Sometimes you do get, you know, some parts, you know, expand and contract, some loose. You can use a wrench just to tighten up a little bit. Just a little tools to help you out with.
What would I be tightening up on here? Oh, I see. Oh, you got all sorts of little stuff.
Pretty much anything with a that's a hex. Yeah, you can tighten.
That's brilliant.
Not that you need to use it all the time, but just in case sometimes you need to use it. It's there for you. But with the Komodo K7, you probably use it every 20 years. So, but it's there for you to use anyway.
Oh, you mean the Allen wrench?
Yeah.
Yeah, once every 20 years. Yeah.
You use once every 20 years. So.
Yeah, I was going to say if I'm using the head once every 20 years.
There's another feature as well, Kevin, on the plate that comes with the K7 head. It's got a slightly beveled front end. Oh, yeah. Because we noticed that sometimes when you're putting a big lens on some cameras, the lens actually doesn't fit really well because it's butted right up against the plate. The lens exceeds it. Yeah, so you can see the way it drops there. Yeah. And that's to accommodate a much bigger lens.
Totally right. And I know if you put a camera on here, you know, obviously if you're going to put a large camera on here and it sits out here, and if you're mounting these giant cameras, of course you're going to add some sort of, they have these little, if you're not familiar with these, the people watching, they have these little things that hold up the cameras. But for these smaller cameras, I think for the Sony cameras, you may have these smaller bodies, and when you mount a lens on there, the lens on some of these cameras, just by that much.
Yeah, it's a tiny bit.
Yeah. It's a tiny bit. It exceeds the bottom of the camera. And the problem is if you don't have something like this, then you're going to have to take and mount your camera like that.
Yeah.
And then you're going to have to mount it on your head way down here and have the lens hanging out. And that solves that problem. That's awesome. That's really awesome, man.
And of course, that helps generally with just balancing the camera if you're using a long lens.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, for sure. For sure. I mean, that's another thing we haven't really talked about, and I'll go into when I look at this, is there's a consideration of balancing. I mean, if you have a camera sitting up here and then you have a large lens sitting up here, and you just, you know, for people who aren't used to this, and you just slap your Manfrotto on there, this has a large landing area. If you're using like one of those small arca-swiss plates, which I wouldn't suggest using those small plates, get a bigger plate, which is going to cost you way more than the plates that I already showed you, that I told you to buy. And if you don't, well, then you don't. And then you're going to regret it. And then in a couple of years, you're going to buy it and you're going to say, I should have listened to Kevin. There's a balancing of the camera and everything else where you put this thing on here. Like it may sit there, it may sit there, which is why it's also important if my camera is balanced, midpoint of gravity is here, which is why it's important to have a lockdown like this and not some screw twisty thing. And also, like any plate, I know some people watching this aren't aware of this. It's okay. There are new people who are watching this. Almost every manufacturer does this, in case you didn't know. Not every manufacturer does this, which is, this is a 3/8, and what's in here is a 1/4. So a lot of cameras have a 1/4 mounting on the bottom of the camera. Some have 3/8. You may be mounting something else. You may be mounting your camera cage on here. And of course, in iFootage style, when I pull these out, this is what keeps the screw from coming out. When I pull this out, this stays on there. A number of these, you pull them out, they don't have any way to keep these on. This falls on the ground. Then you're trying to find the damn rubber stopper. So you just pull this out. You throw your 3/8 in there like this.
It's still early.
There we go. It's still early. And that actually screws in there, which, you know, is good. That comes over there. You didn't lose your little black stopper. You just compress that back in there. Oh, there we go. And then it's not going anywhere. And you will lose these. You need to keep track of these, which is why you have a 3/8 over here. And over here, you have a little place to keep your quarter screw. So you won't lose it. And trust me, not everybody does that. Many do, but there are some that don't. So not saying you have to buy a K7 or a K5, but when you're looking at a video head, not only are you looking at its temperature ranges, its features, and what it does, you can go off and buy those $50 or $75 or $100 video heads. You better look for all these features, and I doubt you're going to find them, but those are features you need to look for if you're new to this. Wow. You guys got a lot of stuff. So this has been really long, and normally I would just say this has been really long, and we should probably stop now, but I'm not going to, because here's what I want to talk about. You know what's coming, right?
I started to think.
2 years ago, I saw the coolest gadget that I've ever seen, ever, that has huge potentials, and you've held it back to make it perfect, and that is the Nano slider. Is that what it's called, the Nano slider?
Yeah, Shark Slider Nano.
Yeah.
Shark Slider Nano. So tell me about that.
I think it's still the world first 2-axis portable slider available in the market very soon. What do you think, Ian?
Yeah, it's again, it's iFootage looking at existing products and its own sliders as also, and seeing how many improvements it can make with this new slider. So, for instance, when we were testing it out, quite a few time-lapse photographers told us that sometimes they simply don't want to use Bluetooth. Or if their phone's low on battery, to control the slider. So there is an interface actually on the slider itself. So you have a choice between using your phone, your smartphone to control the slider, or the interface on the slider itself.
Yeah.
It's also intuitive in as much as you can preset the actions simply by dragging your camera and the slide to the motor to where you want it to be, A point and then B point, and it will immediately mimic it for you. So it's just so easy to use and so fast to use as well.
And with most, with many of the portable sliders, you can only do the slide axis, which, I mean, I do a lot of interview setup sometimes. The parallax control is very important, but I don't want to, if I'm going to bring the whole rig and big sliders, yeah, I could do that, but then there's a lot to carry and a lot to set up. But if I'm going to do something quick and easy setup, interview setup, I literally just put it on a table or put it on a tripod, move it to A point, press a key to set A, B, and then, move to the B and set B, and then press play, and off you go. No complications, in terms of setting it up and all that. So yeah.
So we're very, very excited by so many things with this slider. Its size, for instance, if you could probably fit it, if you had a large raincoat on, you could probably fit it in the inside pocket of your coat. So it's incredibly portable, and we think that in terms of going to market with it, there's a really good place for it within the slider market at the moment.
Wow.
So the team's doing a final testing, and when everything is, perfect, then we'll start shipping. So we think we're talking about July or end of July. Don't quote me on this here.
So by exactly July 31st, come no fail, that shall be on the market. You all heard it.
There's no surprises, yeah. There's no surprises, but yeah.
One final point, Kevin, is that the thing I really like about filmmaking is that with all the technology, the hardware, the software, and all the developments that have taken place, the craft remains the same. That hasn't changed.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
It's still a craft. And we're all storytellers. It's still a craft based around sharing narrative or story in some way, shape or form. Even an advert is quite often a story of types. And that's the craft that I love. That's the craft that I fell in love with 30 years ago. And the technology has just been something that's helped everyone and enabled them to tell their story.
Thank you for answering my questions. Thanks for hanging out with me both, Madison.
Thank you, Kevin. Thank you so much.
You guys are awesome. We'll see you later.
Now. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye then. Bye-bye.
And now you got a little white thing in your
ear. Don't tell him. Don't tell him.
You ready?
Yep.
Are you ready? Okay. So these two you see on the screen. No. Okay. Go get your mushrooms, Ian.
He's really gone.
Oh yeah, he's got to go get mushrooms.
I've got to go. I'm in trouble.
Go.